Alright people, it's time for a Halo Q&A, so the rules are very simple for those of you just joining us. All you have to do is leave your Halo related questions in the comments section below. They will be randomly picked and hopefully yours will be answered on next week's show. So we're going to kick this week off with a question from Dark Knight Spider, who says, Q&A, if you could bring back one thing from each Halo game, from CE to 5 into Halo 6, what would it be and why? Thank you. So starting with Halo CE, what I would actually bring back is, funny enough, the medkits. I kind of miss the medkits in Halo. I kind of liked the way it added an extra layer of difficulty to the game, where it wasn't just like, oh, you regenerate your shield and then there you go, you're back to full health. I did like how even if you did get your shield back, your health could still be low, so you had to play extra careful until you were able to find yourself a medkit and patch yourself up. When it comes to Halo 2, I would bring back the dual wielding. I personally found it kind of gimmicky, and I don't exactly miss it now that it's gone, but I understand that people do miss dual wielding a lot, so why not bring back dual wielding? When it comes to Halo 3, the equipment. I miss the equipment so much. I loved the equipment system from Halo 3, the deployable shields and stuff, the deployable gravity lifts. I miss all of that, and I would definitely bring that back in a heartbeat. With ODST, I feel that I would actually want to see kind of like a return of the hub worlds to some extent. Obviously, Halo 5 tried doing hub worlds and didn't do it nearly as good as ODST did. I would like to see, like, if the hub worlds do need to be in future Halo games, I'd prefer that they stick with the Halo 3 ODST style design, where there are collectibles that you can find. Like, in ODST, by following clues and stuff, you can actually unlock hidden gear, like a sniper rifle or the mongoose, so you can get around the little hub world a little bit easier. Just something like that. And with Halo Reach, I would definitely bring back the firefight mode and all of the campaign theater mode options that came with it. With Halo 4, not really Spartan Ops, but I would like some kind of post-launch campaign extension where it's like maybe, you know, hobble together campaign levels with like a few assets that you still have left over. Obviously try to make it a little bit more fun to play than actual Spartan Ops was, but I did enjoy how Spartan Ops, even after Halo 4's campaign was over, it was essentially Halo 4 Part 2. It was more of the campaign. The story continued, and it was, you know, at the time, setting up the events of Halo 5, and then obviously Halo Escalation came out, the comic series, and pretty much shut down everything Halo Spartan Ops was trying to set up, which was really disappointing, but I kind of miss that even after the campaign was done, there was still more building with the Halo universe that was going on. And with Halo 5, the Forge, absolutely 100% I want that Forge in Halo 6. Halo 5's Forge is incredible. I've actually said before that it's getting to the point where it's like a console version of Gmod. I really cannot stress how good Halo 5's Forge is, and it would be such a disappointment if it was not in Halo 6, but let's be honest, it's gonna be in Halo 6. I hope that answers your question, and the next one comes from HKHJG, who says, I think weapon skins are a disgrace to Halo. My question is, what the hell was 343 thinking, even considering skins? They break the immersion and make the game look simply childish and trashy. What's next? Sprays? If you asked any Halo fan if they wanted a pizza skin in Halo, they would have said no without hesitation, yet 343 goes right ahead with it. It's like they don't even care if they run the series into the ground. So in my opinion, I actually do like the weapon skins. I think that it makes sense in a first-person shooter to have character customization that you can see as the player, because when you're customizing your armor, the only people that are going to see it are other people and you when you die and your corpse hits the ground. You're not going to be able to see the full extent of your customization because you're seeing through your own eyes. Now, when it comes to weapon skins, that's another story entirely. When you have a weapon skin applied to your assault rifle, you can see it because it's right there on your screen. It's not like the armor where you can only see it like 10% of the time during gameplay. And the wacky skins like the pizza and stuff, I honestly don't mind. I do actually really like some of the creative skins. I love the pizza skin a lot. I really do like the pizza weapon skin. It's one of my favorites. But that being said, I do think that right now with Halo 5, it needs to strike a balance with maybe also having a little bit more serious skins, and I'm not saying like having a static black color with the Osiris logo or whatever. I'm saying like, let's have some desert camo. Let's have some flora camo or something. Like, I'm thinking of something similar to the kind of camouflage that you saw the Marines using in the first mission of Halo 3 or something. Let's be able to apply that pattern to the assault rifle or something. Hell, if we want to go further, certain games like Battlefield Hardline allow you to customize your own personal camos. Why not have that feature in future Halo games where you can customize your own camo and then you can apply your own patterns to your weapons and stuff? And maybe for the people such as yourself that really dislike the camos, in the options menu, let's have a toggle option, like disable all external like stuff or whatever. So basically, you won't see any camos in the game. They will all be turned off for you. There are games out there that do have that feature, and Halo could probably do it easily. And those are just like my opinions and stuff. Halo's multiplayer isn't supposed to be immersive, and I never feel immersed when I'm playing Halo's multiplayer, because it's multiplayer. People are teabagging each other, people are killing themselves with their own grenades. There's nothing immersive about an online arena. And so it kind of makes sense, just like, let people have fun. Let them put a pizza on their weapon if they want to. It's personal to them. It's their personal customization, and it kind of reflects who they are, similar to how people can have cats with cowboy hats as their emblems, you know? So moving on to the next question from Noble117 Out. He says, Q&A, do you hate the new Halo trilogy? I liked it, and if you say I'm not a Halo fan, you. So no, nobody's gonna say you're not a Halo fan, because that's a very childish insult. Who are you to say that someone is less a Halo fan because they do not share your personal opinions? It's very stupid, in my opinion, that argument. So with the new Halo series, like made by 343, because the thing is, it's not a trilogy. Microsoft has said multiple times it's a saga and stuff, basically meaning, oh man, there's going to be way more than just 3 games. This is going to be ongoing and stuff. It's definitely not a trilogy. When it comes to the new Halo series, Halo 4's story I loved. I was on board. I was ready to go. I was thinking that this was going to be incredible. And then sadly, Halo 5 took what I loved about Halo 4's direction and drove it into the ground. Like, it just dismantled everything that I was excited about the future of Halo. It just tore apart everything, and now it's like, oh god, like, unless Halo Wars 2 and Halo 6 is able to repair fully almost everything that Halo 5 tried doing, like, I don't think I'm gonna look back upon this current Halo story very fondly. I'll definitely play the games, and if the campaign level design is good, then oh man, like, that's great. But when it comes to the stories, as of right now, I very much dislike this current Halo saga that we're in. I greatly prefer the Bungie trilogy, just because even though Bungie's games were very inconsistent in their story, it felt much more structured than this currently, like Halo 4 to Halo 5. And plus, on top of that, I just think that Bungie understood, when it comes to the level design aspect, they understood the make it a fun sandbox a little bit better than 343 did, because currently, especially with Halo 5, 343 seems to think that, like, condensing the levels, tightening them, making them linear hallways with, like, scripted enemy encounters everywhere where the enemies won't move from a certain position, like, they will stay in a certain area and never, like, wander around and stuff, like, 343 is very much linearizing Halo in terms of its level design, and I'm really not liking that. So I do prefer some of the Bungie games where they're a lot more open in their level design, a lot more sandboxy, but that's just my opinion. So the next question comes from Ass Rocket, who says, Halo Q&A, I love your videos. A couple years ago, Bonnie Ross or someone said that 343's goal was to make the Halo series last for the next 30 years. Do you think that's a realistic, conceivable goal? Why or why not? Personally, I think that's great, so as long as it's executed well. Also, do you think that we'll get some kind of Halo 6 reveal at E3 this year? Thanks, and I hope this gets picked. Love, ass rocket. So I think that that's very ambitious, and best of luck to them, but in my opinion, right now, the current problem with, Halo is going to last the next 30 years and stuff, is that they're not taking Halo one step at a time, and they probably should be. I'm actually going to tie this into cinematic universes, funny enough. I was having a discussion earlier with somebody about cinematic universes, and, well, it's actually very relevant to this conversation. So I see 343, with Halo 5 especially, making a lot of the same mistakes that other studios in the Hollywood sphere are making with their cinematic universes. Because here we go. We got Marvel back in 2008, I think, where they started to sow the seeds of a cinematic universe, and they took a while having these independent superhero movies, setting up characters and stuff that all built to the Avengers, where here we go, all the pieces were in place, now we can have an Avengers movie, and that pretty much kicked off a cinematic universe that Marvel is, they're making a lot of money from because they're doing it very well, and they're taking it one step at a time. But then we have Warner Brothers and the DC brand that comes stumbling out the gate with Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and finally falling flat on their face with the Suicide Squad movie. And then we've got Sony with Spider-Man, just failing so miserably with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, failing so bad that they canceled it, and now Marvel and them have a shared agreement so that Marvel now can use Spider-Man in their Marvel movies. And the problem with a lot of those studios and stuff is that they're going way too fast. They're thinking about oh my gosh, we're going to have this many spin-offs in the Justice League, and they're set it's oh my god, just take it one step at a time. Stop. You haven't earned your cinematic universe yet. You need to go slow. And currently with 343, I don't like to hear them say 30 years, Halo's going to be around for the next 1 billion years. No, I want you to focus on making sure your next game is good. Because right now, with 343, in terms of fan response, now for me personally, I find Halo 4 to be very underrated and stuff, but a lot of people dislike Halo 4, and a lot of people, the MCC, that thing is still broken to this day, and Halo 5, a lot of people strongly disliked Halo 5, especially the campaign aspect of it, and so it's 343, so far, you're 3-0 right now. You've got to focus on your next game. Just making it good, making it something that the fans will enjoy, and then after that, make another game that the fans will really enjoy. And again, and again, and again, and again, until you've built yourself something that the fan base will trust. And then you can begin setting up your own universe, and whatever Halo can last for the next billion years or whatever your ambition is. Just right now, stop. Take it slowly, because if you don't, you're going to run yourself into the ground because you're in such a hurry to get to 30 years from now. So I hope that answers your question. The next question comes from Reiner Zufall, and in order to keep this short, I will summarize his question. Basically, he's asking, what if 343 maybe dropped Halo 6's future release and focused on spin-offs, allowing Halo 6 to have a longer development time so that they could polish it up, make it exactly what the fans want, and in the meantime, focus on spin-off games like maybe horror survival Halo games with Flood and stuff, or possibly another ODST? So to answer your question, I think that this is a good idea, for me personally, but realistically, I don't think it's an idea that Microsoft and their investors would be okay with. Just because when it comes to Microsoft, what they worry about, this is kind of the way that businesses think and stuff. They worry about losing their player base, and they also worry a lot about the online aspect. With Microsoft, when they ship a new Halo game, well, 343, obviously, it's everything. It's the campaign, it's the social aspects, it's the multiplayer, it's an entirely complete package. What Microsoft is worrying about is the online player numbers and the amount of money made post-launch with DLCs and microtransactions. They're worried about the multiplayer competitive aspect of Halo and making sure that it constantly brings them in money. And so, with releasing a new Halo title every 5 years, they wouldn't make as much money as releasing a Halo title, say, every 2 years or something. With 5 years of development, that would mean that there are 5 Call of Duties released in that time span. And so Halo would obviously not make as much money as Call of Duty. And here's the thing, that makes total sense because Halo's a console exclusive, at least for now. But, like, they don't think like that. They're so detached from the way, like, gamers work and gamers act and stuff. Like, all they're worried about is the DLC sales, the microtransactions, how many people are actually playing online and stuff. So they'd want to have as many Halo titles with the 4v4 Slayer that everyone loves pumped out, like, in as, like, small a time span as possible. That's all that they're worried about. So for them, releasing a mainline Halo title every 5 years and releasing only spin-offs in between them, they'd be like, oh, but the spin-offs, they have to play, like, those Halo games and stuff, because those Halo games sell. Like, will this spin-off have 4v4 Slayer? Ooh, you should make it more like that Halo game. And you can start to see a problem now. And sadly, it's just the way that, like, corporate businesses work. I wish that it wasn't, but that's the way that it works. I mean, hopefully, with Halo 6 not releasing this year, according to at least what Phil Spencer said, Phil Spencer of Xbox, he said, no, don't worry, there will be no Halo title releasing this year. It's all about Crackdown 3 and all these other Xbox One exclusives. And so hopefully that means that we'll see Halo 6 next year or possibly even 2019 or something. Like, hopefully they get an extra year just to polish up Halo 6, like, really make sure it is a good one after kind of like the response to Halo 5, but I like the idea of releasing a mainline Halo game every 5 years or something and having spin-offs in between, but Microsoft and the way that they think and that kind of corporate culture, they would never allow something like that to happen, and that's really frustrating. And then finally, here we are. A question that I've actually been asked a lot, but this one comes from OG Cacti, who says, Q&A, do you think 343 will ever make a Halo 3 anniversary? So, to answer this question that I've been asked a lot, do I think a 343 anniversary or a Halo 3 anniversary is happening next year or this year? No, in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to be happening. Now, obviously, all we have to go on is Frank O'Connor basically saying, no, Halo has diminishing returns, it wouldn't be worth the money and stuff, but, like, you know, what, like, take that stuff at, like, with a grain of salt when it comes from them, honestly, because they said the same thing about Halo 2 anniversary. What I hope happens this year is that we'll see Halo 3 re-released on the Windows 10 store, like a proper PC port of it. But when it comes to Halo 3 Anniversary, how would they release it? Would they release it independent from the Master Chief Collection, or would they patch it into the Master Chief Collection? And with the Xbox One hardware, you see the way that Halo 2 Anniversary struggles to run at a consistent 60 frames per second on the Xbox One. Like, the Delta Halo level in Halo 2 Anniversary, that thing barely makes it to 40 frames per second consistently because of all the foliage and stuff in the trees. So I could imagine Halo 3, which what you're essentially doing is you've got two games running on top of each other. You got the base game, and then you got the visual overhaul, and being able to switch upon the fly, and also making sure that that runs above 900p. I could picture that with Halo 3, that would be even more taxing on them. And then with Halo 3 runs at 1080p on the Master Chief Collection. Now, if a Halo 3 Anniversary released independently from the Master Chief Collection, it wasn't a, like, patch for it, you could imagine all of these news articles and stuff laughing and pointing out that, well, the base Halo 3 in the MCC runs at 1080p. But when you play Halo 3 in Halo 3 Anniversary and you switch back to the old graphics, it's 900p. Oh my gosh, like, they can't even run the Anniversary Edition at, like, a straight 1080p. They can only run old games at 1080p and stuff. Like, you could imagine the kind of, like, media shitstorm that would kick up because of that, and it's very frustrating. Now, I've seen other people say that it's just a waste of time. It's only a graphical upgrade. And no, I would disagree with that, because for me, you're seeing a different rendition, like, through another artist's eyes and stuff. For Halo 2 Anniversary, there are aspects of that game that I think are much better than Bungie's original Halo 2 from an artistic and musical standpoint. And there are some things that I think are worse and stuff, but ultimately, it's kind of interesting to play through Halo 2 Anniversary and just see Halo 2 through someone else's eyes. And I'd like to see the same thing with Halo 3. Just seeing Halo, like, how would somebody else do Halo 3? And it's just like, it's kind of interesting as somebody who really likes art, such as myself. Like, that stuff I always find very interesting. But that's just my opinion. Personally, no, I don't think we will be getting Halo 3 Anniversary. But there you go, guys. Thank you so much for asking all of your questions. Don't forget to ask questions in the comment section down below. And I've actually got a Q&A for you guys, the subscribers. So in your opinions, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think that there are any things, even if it's a tiny detail from an artistic standpoint with Halo 2 Anniversary, do you think that there are any things that Halo 2 Anniversary actually did better than the original Halo 2? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, and I'll see you all on the next